So this is my submission for assignment 3 of COMP251. So this is the applicant class. I added the field loan amount, education, and experience, and then name and score are there as well. And so the constructor for the applicant class, it'll take a line from a file, and it'll tokenize it by splitting it based on the presence of the tab. So like in our application file, each time there's a tab, it'll split the string, and so based on the format of this application file, tokens at array 0 will correspond to the name, and then at index 1 it'll be the loan amount, and index 2 and 3 will be education and experience respectively. And then to calculate the score, there's a for loop that will take all the rest of the items in the tokens array, and it will divide it by I minus 3. So we're doing that because we're starting at I equal to 4, so we need to minus 3 to give it the proper denominator for the formula to calculate score sum. Then after the for loop iterates, then the score will be equal to the score sum that was calculated here. The compare to method, equals method, and the toString method will return the name, the loan amount, and the score, each with a tab in between. The get loan amount will return the loan amount, the value of loan amount, and then the check rejected will return true or false based on if the experience and education, the sum of experience and education are less than 10. It'll return true, and if it's greater than 10, then it will return false. So in the loan class, we have the run method, which will take the input from a user, and based on whatever their input is, it will have, so say they input like 1, then the load applications method will be called. If they choose 2, then they can set the budget. If they choose 3, then the make decision method will be called. If they choose 4, then the print method will be called. And if they choose 5, then the update application method will be called. And the same format for load applications is also for the update application. And then the default for the switch statement would just be unrecognized input. So the load applications method will take the path, the file path, and then it will, so each line in the file will be a applicant object, and if it's, so here it will check if it's rejected or not, and if it is, it'll push the applicant object to the rejected list, otherwise it'll push it to the active list. And this is the set budget method, which will take the user input of the new budget that they want to, or of the budget that they want to add to the current budget. So every when you first run the class, or sorry, when you first run the program, the budget is initialized to 0. So set budget will allow the user to add more to the budget. The make decision method will, so first it'll create an over budget list so that while the budget is greater than 0, each applicant will be searched, or each applicant will be looked at. So if the budget is greater than 0, and if the active list is empty, it'll break the while loop. Otherwise, it will look at the top item in the active list, and if it's greater than the current budget, it'll add it to the over budget list so that you can look through the whole active list. And then if it passes these, then the active list will pop or the top item in the active list will be popped, and it will add it to the approved list, and also it'll minus the loan amount from the current budget. And this while loop will keep iterating until it's empty. And then once it exits the while loop, there's this for loop that will take everything from the over budget list and push it back to the active list. And then this print method will it will print the applicants from the active list, approved list, and rejected list, and it'll add it to either the active, approved, or rejected text files. And then the update application is it'll pass a similar input to the load applications. It'll be the name of the input file, and it will take the line in the input file, so it'll take a line in the input file one at a time, and then it uses the update item method from the priority queue class, which will iterate through the entire active list and see if the names of the item, the name field is equal to the item that's passed, and if it is equal, then it'll look to see if there's any changes in the rest of the line, and if it is, it'll just like update the item, and then it will print out item updated if the update item method worked, or sorry, if the update item method returned true, then it'll print item updated, and if it didn't, then it'll print out item not updated. And then once it goes through this while loop, it'll call the make decision method, because the items in the active list may be changed now. So just to show how it works, so we're going to press load applications in the file path. Okay, and this is our file path here. And then we are going to set the budget to 300,000. We are going to make a decision and then print out all the items in the active list, rejected list, and approved list. So we have right here, so John Smith is in the rejected list, some gal and some guy are in the approved list, and in the active list we have Larry Page and Miriam.